Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast.
And we get the back view of him. And I mean, it's just a mega.
52 yards is a long shot. Magnum PI is what we named him. No idea.
Just a magnum.
Yeah, just a magnum.
Come on, Cam, last year we said probably 150, mid 150.
Yeah.
Same doe from the morning come out with that 9-pointer.
Here steps out this 90-inch 8-pointer. You're like,
I'm like, okay, well, there's still a buck back there grunting.
Yeah.
And then out steps like another 90-inch 8-pointer. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm like, deer right there.
Yeah, like
and he's
30
already
yards.
30 yards.
Yeah.
He was literally 5 yards from the base of the tree. Could have been had a buck down at 1:40 in the afternoon, back there deep on public. 3 does come out pretty early. It was like 2:45, 24-yard shot, sent the combat veteran, and I tell you what, man, dude, it just smoked. We always get so jacked up when the other person kills. It's just almost like we got it done.
Yeah. And when you killed that doe, I was like, hell yeah, man.
And we come down here to Missouri.
I asked Homey one more time, I'm like, is it a good buck? And he goes, yeah, real good, solid buck. I'm like, all right, boom. And the deer just drops. Sure. Super special meat.
Whitetail Legacy Podcast, bringing you back to the hunt and leaving a legacy. Baller Rut.
Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast. Little different beginning there for you guys. I am up here at Logan Sellers' house once again, and we are podcasting. But
doing it again.
However, this time we are actually hunting, and we're deer hunting instead of dove hunting like it was last time.
I don't know if that was really dove hunting. It was kind of more dove watching.
Well, I got to round off.
Yeah. It was not very eventful.
So we're up here last weekend of deer season, so kind of a bittersweet end to the deer season, but we're out here trying to get a buck down with a couple days left. So Cody was planning on making the trip, but he didn't quite get to make it. We had a work situation come up, so he wasn't able to make it because he's going to be gone from his family. So he's taking the time of the weekend to be home with his family. So, obviously that's what's most important here. But we'll get into it. So, Homey, do you have the shout out, the veteran shout out this week? Yeah, I do. Usually Cody always asks me that.
Yeah.
So this week I want to shout out Brandon, David, and Tyler Clay. Both of these guys have been previous VIP shout outs, and they both have re-enlisted into their respective careers and to continue their service. So just wanted to reiterate that they are re-signing up to do the deed for us to be able to continue to do this podcast here. So appreciate that, Brandon and Tyler.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Moving on here, moving on to Last Breath TV. So since I am up here, we are trying to film a episode, hopefully, if we get it done.
We're getting some footage.
We're getting some footage, so that's a good start.
Yeah.
And we're also trying to film a live video for them to upload on a Wednesday. I can't guarantee when it's going to be out, but trying to film a live for them to put out and kind of see Logan and I going through the wave of deer that we're going through.
Yeah.
And hopefully you guys will be able to check that out on YouTube. And we are also filming this podcast now. So we're out here, obviously not in our studio. This is not the studio setup.
This is
Logan's pad.
corner of clutter right here that we're in right now. But it's what we're working with.
So here's what's going to happen with video in this podcast. It's either going to be a lot of people respecting my abilities, or a lot of people thinking I have a problem because, like throughout the night, the tower of beer cans is going to get super tall.
I think it's going to be a lot of respect. I think it's going to be like he's not slurring, and that's a pretty good stat.
I know. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, if they take all the aspects into consideration here, it's going to be pretty impressive feat that I'm doing out here.
Oh yeah.
All right. Next Level Deer Supplements. Right now, they are at the Nebraska show, the Nebraska Deer Expo. And just from the feedback from Nate and Scott, saying that they've grown so much in the past year, and, it's well-deserved.
Oh, yeah.
And, I know that they've got a huge year planned, and they've got a bunch of meetings and stuff scheduled, trying to get some plans laid out. So huge congratulations to those guys. Just a couple dudes running a side gig, but, I think it's becoming more of a primary asset to both of them. So appreciate all you guys that have bought product from them just from hearing us talk about it. So that's a huge compliment to
tough here,
us
in Illinois,
and you guys.
In Illinois, we want to help you guys out, but we're restricted. We can't do that.
I know. Just like today, man, I was like, man, if we just had like something out there. A big pile of something out there. Yeah.
Pretty much.
It would be, I would feel a lot better about what we're doing.
You said a word, but I don't think we should say the word because Nate will listen to this. And
I was going to say, let's get off the next level. We'll get down the line and then we can say it. I don't want to get fired while Cody's not here.
No. We don't want that.
So getting into the show, guys, like I said at the beginning, I am up here. I am about 2 hours away from home, just right at damn near 2 hours.
Yeah, it's like right on.
So it is the last weekend of deer season, and it's been a rough one for me for the most part, but still trying to get out there. And Logan invited Cody and I up, even I think even before deer season. I was trying to get. Well, last year I tried to get up here for the last weekend. Oh yeah.
Even though you didn't have a tag, because I was like, man, I feel like I got a pretty good chance of killing this buck. Mm-hmm. Do you want to come up and get some footage? Heated blind. It's the Cadillac. It's the Cadillac out there.
And I honestly can't remember what I did last weekend of the season last year. I feel like in order for me to not oh yeah, come up. I think it was just I
feel like you guys are kind of winding down. I don't know if I think you did. Excuse me. I think you did hunt a little bit.
Yeah,
but
it wouldn't have been anything like we did here.
No,
but
I think it was just
then again,
go.
The day you killed, which I want to get into later here, but when you killed, it was on Friday.
That was
I don't even know if we've been able to make it up.
Yeah, probably not. Because I took the day off because I was like, yeah, buck on cam. I'm not going to work.
Yeah.
My vacation time re-upped, so I was like, I got days. I can take days off now.
Right.
But
so I guess we'll just kind of start off with how this weekend's gone so far.
Yeah.
So come up here. Logan's been having surprisingly some good midday movement that you've been sending me from yourself, Cam.
It's been pretty interesting.
It has, and it's not just been like does and fawns. It's been some decent bucks out there, 12:30.
Yeah, just cruising through, and it's weird this time of year. And it really wasn't happening when it was that cold. So it's they're not looking for
high
food.
30s.
Yeah, it was 30s during the day. It's what are these bucks doing?
I was random as hell.
Yeah.
That's what I would text back. Random as hell.
Yep, he's there. They're there.
Yeah. Yeah, so, it's good to know that you have bucks in the area, but when you have a deer moving in January at 12:30 in the afternoon, you're just like, what do I even do here?
Yeah, why are they there?
What am I doing?
Yeah, it's definitely different, and even just the deer movement in general this year has been totally 180 from what it was the last year. But we are hunting the CWD season, which is chronic wasting disease, and in DeKalb County where we're hunting, there has been cases found, and they did a lot of killing. They did the sharpshooting and stuff like that over the years, but we're starting to see I kind of feel like the population's coming back a little bit, and I don't know if they're finding more cases or less cases. I kind of try to keep an eye on it, but I didn't really look at last year's. Previous years I have seen that their cases were going up, but pretty much this weekend, the thing that a lot of people get confused on, you can kill bucks.
Yes.
In a CWD county.
Yes.
It is written out, you can kill bucks. Now, you cannot. With a gun in CWD season if you have a leftover either sex tag.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for any of the muzzleloader seasons, the firearm seasons, or anything like that, now you can't use a gun with your bow tag.
Right,
like
right.
it's specific for like, I have a muzzleloader tag. I can't shoot the deer with a slug gun. It's got
has to be a
Has to be a
muzzleloader.
muzzleloader because I'm using a muzzleloader tag
To shoot a buck.
to shoot a buck this weekend.
Okay.
So like that's kind of like what I do every year is I buy a firearm tag for DeKalb County, and then I buy a muzzleloader tag for DeKalb County. So if I feel like my firearm tag, well, I can still hunt second
Muzzleloader.
season. I can also hunt second season because second season of firearm is first muzzleloader season. Mm-hmm. And that's another one. A lot of people don't know that.
Right.
So like I spent a lot of years, like when I started getting into muzzleloader hunting, I spent a lot like figuring out like where I can hunt, when I can hunt. And it paid off because I get to gun hunt more weekends. And you know me, I'm a gun hunter. Like,
through and through.
I'm like, give
Y'all
me
should
my
see
gun.
my shirt right now.
Yeah.
Logan had this
Hey,
shirt made for me.
mine's on-
100% gun hunter.
Mine's on under here. It's my lucky shirt. I killed all 3 of my bucks this year wearing this shirt. And so it's like a lot of people don't know this. And I actually had a guy that called me. I think it was last week. I think it was the last CWD weekend, and he's like, "Hey, so and so told me that you can shoot bucks on this weekend," and I don't believe it. And I'm like, "Believe it, because I've done it for years. I mean, I've done it for years since CWD started. I started reading the rules and regulations, and it says it right in there. You can shoot a buck if you have an either sex tag. Mm-hmm. Now, if you buy the $5.50 antlerless only CWD tag, that's only for an antlerless doe, whatever. But so it's kind of, in our area, a lot of people don't know that. I mean, the first couple deer I shot that late CWD season, people were like,
"Oh, dude, I know the first year that we met you, I was like,
you can't shoot deer. You can't
I was
shoot
losing
bucks,
my
man.
shit. I'm like, this guy just posted on Instagram. Like,
He's just dropping bucks.
yeah, I was like, got a buck down with a gun, dude.
Yeah.
So I text Cody, I was like, is this guy like legit? Or,
Is this
you
real?
know?
Is this real life right now? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've done it. I mean,
So then he's like, shit, I don't know. Just hit
Look
him
it
up.
up.
Yeah.
and that's why I sent it to you, so you have a copy of it because it says it right in there.
Yeah.
It says, you can shoot for what your tag you have. And then also, this is the crazy thing. So I've shot 2 bucks in the regular season. I shot one with my bow and I shot one during first season. In CWD season, if I have a leftover buck tag, it doesn't count towards the buck total, like your 2 bucks per year, doesn't count towards that.
So after you killed first season, you could have went and got another buck tag and basically set it aside
Till
just
CWD.
for now.
Which I already do that. Like I already have that tag, but like for me, like I don't want to be greedy. Like $2 is like kind of the regulation. Yeah, it's still legal to shoot one in CWD, but I'm more or less leaning like it's gonna have to be a giant.
Yeah.
For me to shoot a third buck.
Now, if one of the 2 190s that you were chasing at the beginning of the year was still out there,
oh yeah,
might be a little different.
Oh yeah, I might have not shot the buck I did during first season if they were still out there. That was
Yeah,
kind of
right.
all these giants are dead.
Right. Man.
Yeah,
I feel like he took that a lot better than a lot of people would.
I think it's one of those things is like in our area, and we talked about it this year, trying to pattern deer and like close the distance on just 1 buck. I don't know what it is about, and maybe this is just me saying this because I've tried it and it just I can't seem to get it done. But I just don't think the deer stay in one area very long. At least the bucks, for sure. I mean, I know this buck was on my property once this year, 196-inch deer on my property, passed by my stand at noon on like a Wednesday.
Daylight as shit.
Noon on a Wednesday, dogging a doe. That deer got shot at 3 p.m. a mile and a half away that same day.
Yeah,
I mean, I could have went there. Like if I'd have had a mobile cam there, he's there at noon. I go there and hunt him. He's already
exactly.
a mile and a half away. Like they just travel so far.
Yeah, especially when they're chasing, in that stage, they're like, you think 2 hours, like you see him buzz 500 yards in about 40 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know how far that deer can actually go.
Exactly.
In that stage while he's chasing. So,
and so like that's like been the hard thing for me too. Is like that's why I don't get too discouraged when people are like, oh, this buck shot, that buck shot. It's like, yeah, there's also bucks like last year.
There's also a buck 3 miles away that's a giant that's going to show
that
up.
I haven't seen.
Exactly.
You know, and,
Yeah.
and so like last year, last CWD season, I saw, so prior to that weekend, I went out bow hunting, saw 2 nice bucks, which was the year previous to the big 196 that was shot this year. He was probably a 160 last year, and another nice 10-pointer, the one I ended up taking, the one I killed in CWD season that Friday.
yeah.
I saw them that Sunday, and I didn't have, last weekend of the season, I didn't have a single, I ran like 3-4 trail cameras on this property. Corners, like pretty much the main areas where the deer move. Like I've hunted there long enough, I know where they're at. And I didn't have a single picture of this deer. So last weekend, or the last week of season, he rolls in on that Sunday. I watched him go by my trail camera. And for the next week, he lived in the woods right by my deer stand, in and out on my food plot. Like little mini plots, you know, you've seen the plots today.
Yeah.
They're like what, maybe
Quarter acre, half
I
acre?
don't even know if they're that, like 1/8 acre.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, they're small.
They're tiny little triangles.
But it's just enough, like, greenery
yeah,
for them deer to remember, like, hey,
it's here. And
it's
now
here.
that I've done it for 3 years
I was
now.
going to say, the time that you've done
They
it
have-
is key, too, I
they're
think.
starting to figure out that this is going to be here. So I'm going to keep, obviously I'm going to keep doing it every year.
Yeah.
But he was hitting that for a week. That whole next week, he just stayed there. And that's why I was like, I have to take this Friday off and hunt all day, because he was coming in the morning, afternoon. Like I never knew like when he was going to be there. So I'm like, well, snowstorm coming at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He's going to come out before that. And it was 3:10 when he
Did you have
showed
a
up.
cam on that fence line?
So no, I had a cam. Oh yeah, I had a cam on that fence line.
Okay.
You know where the deer come out on the north of us.
Yeah.
There's like a bush there. That's where they cross. And
You had a bush cam?
it's a large bush cam. It was on an actual tree. I would call it a bush because it's maybe not more than 20 feet tall, but not a true Whitetail Legacy podcast
Okay.
bush cam.
Yeah, all right.
So that's where I caught the picture of him first, but then I had my mobile in on my food plot, and that's why I realized he was still there, for the next 4 or 5 days. And so he camped out there, but I mean, for a deer that I'd never seen before, he stayed there for a week.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Until I
Like,
shot him.
imagine, so say you didn't kill that deer and he hung out there for who knows how long. Just think about going out there shed hunting and like scooping that up,
Right.
and you have no idea. Be like,
Like
well, where the
don't
hell
have a
is-"
single picture. Like
Yeah.
yeah, and
You
it's
just have no idea.
and I was telling you today, like I have pictures of bucks, and I know this happens to a lot of people, but like there's a pretty high concentration of deer in my area that wasn't there 2 years ago, but I just think the population's coming back now, and that's is helping.
Mm-hmm.
But there's bucks that I've had pictures of that I haven't seen since what, August,
You say-
September,
yeah, I would say
like
there's-
maybe beginning of October. I have this one deer that I like had in mind that I was trying to shoot like first week of October, and then he
Yeah.
vanished. But now the deer are back concentrated. Mostly, what everybody shoots.
Yeah,
like
it's either there or
unless
it
somebody
ain't.
wounded him or something, and that's why he's not there. But like kind of what everybody who hunts in the area, what they shot, whatever. But like
There's only one guy out there shooting a big buck tonight. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
And you're
it's-
gonna probably hear about it.
Yeah, exactly. And so like that deer, and he wasn't a giant, but he's an older buck.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't seen him, like MIA. And I'm like, all these deer starting to come in, feeding on our food plots. It's like, you think he'd show up. You
Yeah,
think
I
you get
mean-
a picture of him,
When you have a hunt and you see 30, 40 different deer, I mean, not counting multiples, like different deer.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there's any deer anywhere else in this county.
I haven't.
You know what I mean?
And it's crazy to me. It's like I don't want to tell everybody, but in the same sense, it's like what does it matter? If the state is going to come in and they're going to lower the numbers again, they're going to do it regardless of.
Yeah.
I mean, they go over with planes and count them, when they're out feeding, whatever. But I haven't seen that many deer in our county, in our area of DeKalb County, since probably 2005 or 6. And that's crazy to me. I mean, 30 deer, like that's a lot of deer.
Yeah, it's an ass load.
Yeah. And well, the problem was tonight we only saw what, $3?
$3.
Or today. Today we saw $3.
Well, $4 if we're counting the whole day.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because there might have been one.
It was a dink.
One, yeah.
It was
With one antler.
Yeah.
I think. So I mean, he counts. He counts.
It's still a buck.
Yeah, he what do they say? They
I don't know what they say.
yeah,
What do they say?
never mind. I don't know. They recognize he recognizes as a buck.
Yes.
That's what I was trying to say.
He recognizes as a buck. I know what you're getting at.
Yeah, right. All right, so we'll kind of what you said there. We'll just kind of lead into how this last day and a half of this weekend's been so far. I got off work early Friday, rolled over here, and Logan has his muzzle loader, and then he's got a shotgun that I'm using just because it has a scope on it.
Yep.
So I run open sights on my 12 gauge, and that's gonna change for next year.
Yeah, big upgrades.
I'm buying a whole new gun setup. So
I think that Savage, the Savage 220.
Yeah, I'm
like
gonna
what Garrett and them, like he shoots at, doesn't he? Or is theirs a 212?
I think they run a 212.
They're a 212. Okay.
So I'm gonna get a Savage 212 or 220.
Yeah, whichever.
They say the 220 is more accurate at 200 than it is. The 212 is good up to 150.
Yeah. I
But-
would say because it's smaller round. You get a little bit smaller round.
Right.
Yep.
So that extra 50 yard is crucial.
Like, and I've learned that. in the past couple of years. I never used to be able to shoot 200 with my muzzleloader, like ever. I was like 150 because I'm gonna put my 100, my regular crosshair right on their back. That's about 150.
Right.
But after the last couple of years, I'm like, I gotta up my game. And that buck I shot last year during CWD was 185 yards. So it's like, if you can't be like, I can't get that close to the food without busting the deer out. So
Yeah,
it's like,
see, and that was another thing I wanted to cross.
What's that?
Like the blind placement.
yeah.
But so I'm gonna get a gun and be able to set it up just for deer hunting.
Yep.
And put a scope on it. Never take that scope off. Never have to do anything. And then my 12 gauge will just be my turkey setup, and I'll just run the short dick on it. And that'll be
they're
it.
just like literally like one purpose gun.
Yeah, like that's what it's gonna be.
Yep.
So and then Michelle, my wife's gonna start hunting, and I've got a Remington 870 20 gauge passed down to me from my dad. That was his first gun that he killed his first deer with, and I'm going to set it up, get a scope. So I'm going to have matching. I'm going to buy 2 scopes of whatever I get.
Yep.
We're going to set them on both, and we're going to, that's what we're going to run with.
Yep.
So the 870 for her, I don't know if she wants to go turkey hunting. Obviously, right now we're in like the second lottery. So
yeah,
it's not a great time to be trying to get tags.
I just got my tape, but there's normally leftovers.
Yeah,
like,
so there is quite a bit of leftovers, but I don't know if we're gonna try to go to Nebraska. Nate's gonna be gone like that last weekend of April, and then the first weekend in May is when Scotty wants us to come out, and then the following weekend is Mother's Day, and then that's my wedding anniversary is usually around Mother's Day weekend. I don't know how it falls this year, but so like second season here, and then the next weekend would be like the time that I would want to go out. I think it's the 25th.
Yeah, I think that's why I try to get a second season here.
Yeah, so
It's like
second
the
season
best,
is
that's
the weekend.
Yeah, because first season it's like,
so
I have a job, I can't.
And then fourth season, nobody really picks over, and fifth season
it's open.
the same way.
Yep.
So, and that's when Cody and I had really good luck with him trying to get on a bird last year. So,
but yeah, so we're using the scopes.
So
we
we're
can
using
reach
the
out
scopes,
and touch them. And today, I guess when we sighted the guns in, I felt very confident, 100 yards with the 20 gauge.
Yep, it shot good at 100 yards. 150, I shot 2 rounds, and it was kind of all over the board. But to begin with, there wasn't even a round Was there a round in there, or it was already spent when I first shot? Like,
Oh, when you first tried to squeeze the
Yeah,
trigger?
yeah.
There was. It was the chamber was open. I don't know what you were doing.
okay, yeah, I don't know what happened, but I thought it was live action, and I just went up there and was like ready to rip.
Yeah.
Put it off safety, and I had the GoPro facing me, and
You're rock solid.
And I thought I like flinched a little bit, you know, it's a new gun, like you don't know what the hell's going on.
Zero flinch.
But
straight up
I
sniper.
just felt
straight
like
up
I
sniper.
flinched. And then we got to watch the GoPro footage when we got done hunting, and it like just like Logan said, it was rock solid. I was like,
Yeah,
man,
you
I didn't even move at all.
Yeah, and then
like,
you
it was
probably
just-
flinched after that though. You're like,
Yeah, but it was cool to like watch that and not be expecting there to be you know
Right.
a malfunction. So I felt like after the first shot you're like, okay,
Well,
I know kind of what's going
and it's
on
like,
here.
and it's like there's not very many variables. I have a love-hate relationship with slug guns. Like they can be really good or they can be really bad, and I think the ammo sometimes has a huge effect on consistent ammo. You know,
Yeah.
it comes like reloading for rifles and stuff like that. Consistent ammo is key to be having an accurate rifle. Even in slug guns, it's just slugs. The only slug gun I've ever seen that's very consistent. Again, is like we went back. I'm gonna go back to talking about the Savage 220. Both of my buddies and my cousin and multiple people that I know who pretty much just gun hunt. That's their gun, and that thing is deadly at 200. Every year they bring it out. Shoot at 100, 150, 200, done. Like,
Good
don't
deal.
even move the scope. Like, shooting anybody who shoots a 220 and can't get a shoot the AccuTip 3-inch, Remington AccuTip 3-inch are,
3-inch out of
Yep.
a 20 gauge.
yep.
Nice.
Yep. And who knows, you probably ain't going to find them before next year. And that's the other thing with slugs,
yeah.
is they're $14 a box, which is absolutely insane. So how can you practice
Yeah.
shooting
every
a
shot,
gun?
you're like,
It's
holy
ridiculous.
shit.
And that's kind of why I went to the muzzleloader, is just because I can buy a box
Get
of
a little
powder.
bulk.
Yeah. I can
Bulk
buy
action.
a little bit in bulk and practice a little more with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we weren't really solid at 150.
No, yeah.
So yesterday we saw a lot of does, a couple small bucks, just nothing really piqued our interest. It was a good sit, saw a lot of deer. And then today we went out and we sat all day. So we were in the blind all day. We did a small push, had a small, I don't know, it was a 5-point, whatever he was.
Yeah, it was
He
a
came
real
out-
nice
He
fight.
came out picture perfect.
It did.
I crushed the video. Crushed it.
Logan smoked it.
Yeah, I mean,
For a guy running a mid to high end DSLR camera, he's picking it up pretty damn
I
quick.
haven't broke it yet.
Maybe your coach is just good.
Yeah, well, he's okay. I'm like trying to film, and he's like, "Oh, the reason why it looks crappy and it's dark is because you got to change all these settings that I had no idea that were even there."
Yeah.
Yeah, what? You mean this? You mean this spaceship of a camera doesn't do it on its own?
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, yeah, that's why it's called manual.
Yeah. I want the auto, whatever the auto. I want everything in auto. But so, anyways, we had that. We pushed, and then we had that buck come through, and a couple small does ran south. We didn't have an opportunity at those.
Yeah.
And then pretty much sat all day until about 3 o'clock.
And like one thing I was kind of looking forward to was like that 11 to 2 hour.
I thought
from what
for
the cans
sure,
have been showing.
I thought for sure we would get like midday cruise,
Yeah,
like something going from woods to woods, but it
It just
dead.
wasn't there.
dead zone.
And I'm not saying that any of them deer on the woods that got pushed would have not come out.
They
but
might have.
They might have.
There was,
but there wasn't really
Yeah.
there wasn't nothing in there worth getting too excited about.
right.
But we did that push on the east side of the property, and we had a northwest wind, so the wind's blowing our scent like through that timber.
yeah.
But the timber's 500 yards away.
Right,
you
yeah.
know, so there's a big giant cornfield in between us. And Logan's dad come through, walked, and the thing that I thought was intriguing about that push is them does went straight south, and the buck angled and come straight up the line,
Yeah.
just like your buck did that you killed with a gun.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to me to like, oh yeah, them does are gone,
They're way out of
but
here.
the buck, which is what we're worried about right now,
He just needed
did exactly
to be
what
like,
we wanted to
he
do.
just needed to be like
50, maybe 50 inches bigger.
If he was 50 inches bigger, he would have been in real trouble of getting shot.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, he came out and literally, I mean, I told you, I'm like, he stopped right where I shot my deer.
Yeah, it was perfect. Like there was two
60-yard shot maybe.
where the farmer had dissed up. There was 2 clumps of dirt like sticking up out of the snow.
Literally right where I dropped my deer.
Logan's like, yeah, you see them too? Yeah, right in the middle of them. That's where I shot my deer. And I think this buck stopped like damn near right on the left.
And he was running pretty
clump.
good.
Yeah.
He was running pretty good, and he just like stopped.
Yeah, the video of him running in, like, I mean, it looks like a
I'm like,
gazelle.
he ain't gonna
just
stop.
smoking.
He ain't gonna stop at all.
No. And then
So-
for some reason, boom.
So we did the push, and like I said, the only reason we did this push is because most of the time when the deer get pushed out, there's 20-some deer in there.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't today. Of course there wasn't.
But we seen 20 go in there last night.
They just didn't stay in there.
They did not stay in there.
So,
That was on video.
Yeah. And so I got that on video. They were in there. So it did happen. But so anyways, the deer, when I shot my deer during our first gun season, they all came out, 25 deer came out with this buck, and we're like, yeah, we got to do that push for this weekend. Mm-hmm. And so after that, went back to the blind, and we waited for till 3. 3 o'clock when that first doe, we had a doe fawn come out.
So we got back in the blind probably just before 10:30.
Yeah, back in the blind, yep.
We sat until 3, and we didn't see anything.
And it was just that
might have
doe.
been even 3:15 before that first fawn came out.
Yeah.
Because it was like 3:30, and I'm like, holy shit, we got a shooter out here.
Yeah, because we literally doe fawn, and then I'm like,
Shooter. And I told Logan, because I mean, it felt like forever today. You're not in the rut. You're not.
No. It was long.
I mean, it is a long day out
again,
there.
like when we were like before, when you want to talk about blind placement and stuff like that, like we had to walk so far in open ground, like it's not a good access.
No, it's
like,
terrible
at all. So I've been hunting there since I was 18 years old, and I've tried to get out there in the middle of the day, and it just doesn't work. Like you can, but majority of the time, if you're out past 2 o'clock, you could possibly have the chance of getting busted by deer moving, even late in the year like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to avoid, especially today, like our full day. Tomorrow I think we'll go in at like noon, just because we're just a full day sit. We didn't see anything in the morning. We're like, hey, we'll go in at noon, no big deal. But where my blind is at, it's walking through a bare bones field. Like you can see you from every woods, but the woods are normally thick enough where the deer do bed, they don't see you. Because I mean, the deer, 30 deer come out of the woods that my blind is butt up against.
Yeah.
Like, and who knows what else was in there. Mm-hmm. But so 3:30, we're in there and shooter.
Yeah, and I told Logan at 1. I don't know if it was like 1-ish or if it was after that first doe come out. I think it was earlier than we'd seen any deer. Because I was like, all right, a shooter is going to be either the first deer we see or it's going to be the last deer we see.
Exactly.
And it was the second deer we seen.
Yeah, literally
like
second
doe
deer.
fawn, shooter.
I mean, it blew me away. I mean, we're literally looking and I just see rack coming out of that.
Where did that doe fawn come out of the corner, or did it come out of the gap, like the side of the gap? Like
she come out of the corner.
Out of the corner, okay.
And then the shooter come out of like there's like a little gap or whatever there, just right out in the food plot.
Just absolutely so. There's a little gap that I don't know. It's like maybe just think of like an entryway to an old logging road because it's kind of wide.
Yeah.
And then it goes back into the timber, and it's clear in the timber as far as you can see from the blind. And then I don't know what it does when you get in the timber, and then Logan's got micro plot right there, which is like absolute money, and it's inside corner. And then on the south side of the corner, it's got also another micro plot. Are they planted the same thing?
Different.
They're different?
They're different. Yep. I planted two different varieties. I actually had along the edge of the microplot on the south, I had like 8 rows of beans that I planted in my 2-row. Demolished.
That's what got smoked.
Well, they got demolished before the farmer plowed them.
Oh,
there wasn't a freaking leaf or bean pod. It was all stems prior to them even turning like brown. I mean, it was absolutely. I was like, well,
And that
obviously
was
the
on
deer
the
liked them.
south side.
So south side, like it was on the edge of the field. You know, like
Oh, okay.
the south.
You did like a
Yeah, I did like
bean
8.
buffer?
Like I did like bean rows because
Okay.
it floods there, so the corn doesn't grow. So I sprayed it, planted some beans, and I'm like, well, whatever. Even if it doesn't last till late, because it's not enough beans. I mean, if you don't have an acre, 2 acres of beans, I don't really. 30 deer come out.
That's gonna get smoked in a heartbeat.
That doesn't last very long
No.
at all. And I bet, and even honestly, I think that the beans that we could see that aren't in the wet hole, I think those are gone. That's why the deer,
Are getting up.
they're
I'm gonna
going
say
past them to the next beans of the neighbors. That's why they're ending up in there, because they were ending up in the other one. But you put 50 deer in a 20-foot strip, 150 yards long for a week, they're gone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah, I think that's a really good tip to give out to the listeners here is if there is a wet spot along the edge of the timber or something that's void from any farmer high produced ag field,
Yeah.
be able to utilize that to your advantage, just like Logan is here. And I really feel like that has been a game changer for you these
big
last couple
time.
years because
Big time.
they can come out to that green, get some green, and then go to the grain.
Then they go to the grain. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's something I learned too.
Even
is-
though it's a small micro
It ain't
plot,
much.
it's not much,
but they stop there.
It is enough to get them to stop there, and I think it's enough to get them attracted to the area.
Because they know that's there.
And
Like,
it's right next to the timber.
Yep.
They can hug it. Even if they don't make it to the grain, you don't really care about that because that's on the neighbors.
Right.
But you got the green, which is what they want first, and they're gonna eat the leaves. They're gonna
dig up the turnips.
They're gonna
Yep.
dig it up.
Yep.
The beets or whatever you got there. That's gonna be green. Is just gonna benefit
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, like me
your
and Dad,
hunting.
me and my dad watched like 2 weeks ago. There was 4 little bucks in there, and I mean they were just bulldozing. And I'm like, slow down. Like,
Yeah,
save some for everybody else. Like,
exactly.
we still have a deer season here. Okay.
Yeah.
Fence this off.
Yep.
But I think that sometimes too is I always say like, and I never did any food plots, and then like as soon as like I started getting my own equipment and being able to do it, I was like, it doesn't take much. Like now that the deer population is getting higher, it's gonna take more. It's gonna take bigger plots.
Yeah.
But for the grand scheme of things at the time when I started doing these plots, I was just trying to give them a little something extra to just give them a little more time on my property.
Exactly, and I think you've done that. And man, it's crazy that little bit of plot of what it's done for you.
Oh yeah, complete game changer for that.
Yeah,
that little chunk.
in this phase of the game, that's
That's
key.
all it's about. That's all it's about. If you're between bedding and food, that's it. And a lot of people, I'm terrible at hunting in the rut. Like I bet this year's bow kill, like I don't know if I've ever shot a deer between first gun season and like in November with a bow. Like early November, I'm terrible at hunting the rut.
What day did you kill that
It
one?
was 29th of October.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever killed a buck with my bow in that November, but I always am like, I've killed a lot of late season bucks with a gun.
A lot of gun bucks.
A lot of gun bucks all day. But
sure.
but like I always kind of laugh about that is because it's like I would much rather hunt late season food than the rut.
Yeah, and just like when that 9-pointer come out tonight, like he was just so calm.
Yeah, I mean, until that fawn decided that
Yeah.
it was not calm. I don't know what that was.
I mean, maybe there's another squirrel over there that we didn't see.
Yeah, but so I mean, pretty much on that, in the grand scheme of that, like, I mean, we were he's 165 yards.
Yeah, so doe fawn's out there, second deer's
Yeah.
this 9-pointer that you've had on cam, but
Yep.
he's not the one from last year that he showed me.
No, he's not the tall narrow
Okay,
one. He's
I
a
was
different
mistaken on that. I thought it was the one.
Yep,
from
he's a
last
different
year.
bug.
So he's got this. I don't know what he scores. He's 130 and above.
Yeah.
9-pointer.
He's what we're looking at.
Decent browse. Yeah.
He's what we're looking at.
Exactly what we come up here for.
Yeah.
And
that's what I want you to go. If you're going to go on with a buck, that's what I want you to go on with.
Right.
Right there.
Right. I don't know. Don't be sleeping on that 4-point.
It's a mega 4.
Mega
the
4.
video, if the video comes out, you could just hear Homey's voice. That's a giant 4-point.
That is a giant 4-point.
I thought you were going to shoot the 4-point over the 9-pointer.
Dude, like when he come out of the timber, I'm like, oh, I see bone.
He's got pretty much, he's straight up like 5-inch G2s and his mains wrap around.
Yeah.
Like he's got mains.
Yeah.
It's like there needs to be points there, but they're not.
Right. Like when the 9-pointer come out, I'm like, all right, I don't see everything here. Yeah. As soon as the 4-pointer come out, I'm like,
Mega 4.
I'm like, there's bone on the head there. I mean, we need to get verification of exactly what he
How many points? No brows, G2s, and main beams.
All right, there's a giant 4-pointer out there.
Dude got fired up.
Yeah. But then you see the 9-pointer out there swinging his head. You're like, okay, yeah,
all right,
yeah, he's pretty serious.
Yeah.
Let's get serious here.
So 160, 65 yards after the gun, we kind of were just like, you know what? 3:30. Let's just wait.
We got 2 hours.
We got 2 hours. We got plenty of time. More deer are going to come out. He's probably going to come out into the field at some point.
Mm-hmm.
He did. But it was like 200 yards.
Yeah, so
he kind of looped around on us.
Circled back a little bit. I mean, so when he came out the first time, like, we were juiced.
Oh, dude.
You were juiced. I was juiced as shit. I was ready
I freaking recorded like maybe, I don't know, like 5 minutes and just ate up all your data on your
Yeah.
Ate that
We're in
up.
4K.
Yeah.
Logan's just out there ripping the video.
You're like,
I'm like,
you started another video? I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah, but this one's kind of long. I was like rolling it.
You're just letting it roll, which is good. I like the long form stuff.
There's footage. You can chop it up.
Oh yeah.
You can chop
exactly.
it up. Do your thing. Do your editing thing.
So this doe fawn that's out there just gets like spooky, which we hunted last night and we seen deer get spooky when they get out away from the timber.
They just get.
But they weren't like super far from the timber. They were still on the edge of the plot. You know, they're within 30 yards of the timber line. And she just kind of like jumps 2 steps, this mega 4. His whole body kind of shifted.
Yeah, he just totally changed like he's going
The
in.
9-pointer just kind of like raises his head, So like as it went down the line, they got less spooky.
Yep.
But so the doe fawn's really the one initiating everything. And she didn't go. She was the last one to go in the timber.
I know. I don't understand.
So
where he was.
the 9-pointer goes back in the gap of the login road, we'll say, and the 4-point kind of follows him. And once they get into the actual timber, then they just kind of start going back to doing their own thing. Doe fawn's still out there in the plot, and then the doe fawn goes off, and she goes north once she gets in the timber.
Yep.
4-point follows her. And we see the 9-pointer wrap south. So the other 2 went north, and then he went south. And it wasn't 5 minutes later, does start coming out of the Logan Road gap.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, this 9-pointer literally had to pass by.
Like they saw each other.
They literally.
He knows they're going out.
Yeah. He's seen them, smelled them. It went right by him. Like he knows that there's does going out there.
Yep. And then
So
then which buck comes out after that?
The damn 4-pointer.
4-point comes from the north.
Yeah. So
He follows the does out, follows suit.
yeah. So he circles back around,
Like the bigger buck should have.
and I'm thinking, okay, we've already
We're
had
still
does out
solid.
here.
We're still solid.
Yeah, we've already had does out here. Does are staying out here.
Yep.
They're out there pawing through the snow to get down to the food plot. 4-point showing back up right in the gap. And at this point, we're thinking, all right, if this 9-pointer shows back up, we're going to get a shot off.
We're going to try to get him like 140.
Yeah, we're going to try to,
If
hopefully
he
it gets
140,
closer.
where these other deer are working,
Right.
kind of shorten that 20-yard gap a little bit.
That 20 yards is.
That's 160. He was pushing 170 at one point.
Yeah.
There, and I was like, that's a poke,
Mm-hmm.
Especially like with that gun. But so anyways, 4-point works out. Does are coming out. He comes out in the field, 100,
Who's it,
The
4
4?
point?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was at 148 at one point.
But I thought he came close. Well, didn't he come closer when he looped around or no? I thought he was
The
at
second-
110 the second time.
Oh, when they started all going across
when they started
the field.
going
yeah.
across to go
So
to the green.
on Logan's second food plot, not by the Logan Road Gap, there's does there that start coming across the field, and when they come out of the timber, they're about 80 yards from us, and then they're angling across the field to the neighbors' standing beans,
Yep.
which is the destination that they're going. So what is that? Probably 12 rows wide, do you think?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's just it would look like a strip of
yeah.
ag. you
Yeah,
know?
strip. It's pretty much the headlands. Like,
Yeah.
it's like a strip of headlands.
So, and the neighbor's got a blind over there, and so these does start funneling out, and we're like, okay, we're gonna have to get through all these does before any
Yeah.
buck starts funneling out, and then the 4 point comes out.
He makes it. He goes all the way up.
He goes.
He's all the way up in the beans. And then, what was it? We're probably about, like half an hour, 40 minutes left?
Yeah.
And I'm getting pictures on my mobile. All
I would
does.
say the mobile starts firing up.
And I'm like, I count 11 deer still waiting to come out.
Yeah, and we
11
can't see
does.
them.
Yeah, they're around the corner.
And there was only, so from 3:10-ish, 3:15-ish till, shooting light, there was only about 3 minutes, which didn't even really count, but there's only about 3 minutes that there wasn't a deer within 100 yards
Right.
of us.
Yeah.
That 3 minutes, there was a doe across the field on the neighbors at, 650.
Yeah,
that
whatever.
we seen,
Yeah.
but I mean,
So,
there's literally deer out there the whole time.
yeah.
And it's just crazy to think that there's deer out there, and you've seen 40 deer in an evening sit, but in the morning you seen 5,
And you're like, where is
and
it?
3 of them were at 600 yards
Yeah.
going into the other timber,
Yep.
and then you had 2 at 150, but then it's just like 3 o'clock hits,
It's
boom,
rolling out.
here we go.
Yep, dinner bell.
And I kind of said that on the GoPro. I was like, if they're not moving in the morning, it just makes you think that they're going to move earlier in the evening.
You would think, yeah, and they did.
Especially with the scenarios that we got going here. Late season.
Yep, exactly. And they did, and they really did, And pretty much, I mean, we were seeing does funneling out, and I look over through the middle window, and I didn't even put my binos on it. I go, there he
Yeah.
is.
Right.
And you range him to 215.
yeah. It was,
So he come out. We thought he looped south, and we're thinking he's gonna come out with all these does out of the south plot.
yep.
And we're like, this is perfect. He's gonna come out last after all these does.
And he'll be within 110. Like
Yeah.
the farthest deer are ranged out of that come out, which
Yeah,
is
was-
probably 20 deer come out of
Yep.
there. Half of what we seen tonight come out of there and angled to the standing beans. And I think the farthest one in range was 112.
Yeah, I mean, there was a few that went along the other plot, but they were but they angled along the woods, but still we're like, he's coming out this way, but he literally went in,
And
looped
somehow
south and went north.
got through the gap without knowing that he went north, because we knew the 4 point went north,
Yep,
but then
yep.
he circled back through
Yep, he
and come back out in the
through.
gap.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, man, with him bypassing all these other deer, he's like, shit, I just go back out there.
Yep.
And
he
he knows the food plots there.
Yeah,
he knows.
he knows.
We got cornfield there.
I mean, he was that, and I'm probably, I'm like 98% sure that was the same buck that I had in that food plot in the logging trail, as you call it.
Yeah, just trying to get.
Yeah, get a name for it so you know.
Yeah.
So I had him in there. I have video of him just on my phone of fighting with another buck. It might have been the 4 point, the Mega 4. It might be him he's fighting with. I'll have to look at the video again. But they were in that plot first season. I had him at 165 yards. I'm like, this is a really nice buck. But I was like, I think it was like 9, 10 o'clock, fairly late in the morning, and they weren't really rutting. But I was like, maybe they'll come out and feed this afternoon. I really don't want to take a 160. If I don't have to, I already have, I guess my thing is I had a deer, I already killed a nice buck.
For sure.
And it's like,
Right.
why force it? Like I don't want to
Yeah.
force a shot and then end up wounding a deer.
Because
or-
if they would have funneled out like they did on the second spot tonight,
it's just like and you know,
just wait for that.
and even so, like, you know, I was bow hunting that spot and I had that old buck, that split G2 buck during bow season come out, and from my blind where he came out, that's a 85-yard shot, you know, like 85, 95-yard shot. So it's like, I'm like waiting for him to do that. Like,
Yeah.
why don't you do that and then I'll shoot at you?
Right.
And then, like, it's not that I don't think I can take that, like, make that shot, but it's like I almost didn't feel the pressure or the necessity to do it.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, you got to buck down, and you know, after the last couple years, late season, shit's going to be prime.
And
it's only going to get better the later it gets for you.
For sure, yeah.
You know,
Every
especially
year.
with as hot as this damn rut was
Yep.
this year.
And
you
even
know.
even it's got me thinking, like, you know, with these food plots and the way that this is all kind of, I guess, snowballing the way that the deer are using these, it's got me thinking, like, you know, late season, this last weekend, CWD, potentially, I mean, I was telling you where I wanted to put my bow stand. Mm-hmm. That buck was 20 yards away from where I wanted to be able to bow hunt. Mm-hmm. And the wind today may be a little bit off for that. But, like, as we're sitting there, I'm thinking about that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like, I could possibly be bow hunting this food plot late season. You know, the last weekend.
Yeah, if you had a Southwest late season,
Oh, money. Yeah.
you'd be in there no problem.
And I mean, like, literally where he was, where I did that hanging hunt the one day on that plot, I mean, that was a 20-yard shot.
Yeah, or
Where he was standing.
even like what the deer are doing now. If you had a south wind, you could get on that north fence line.
Oh, for sure.
If you had a west wind, you could get anywhere on that timber line. I mean, and that's why Cody and I kind of talked you into getting a mobile setup, just for shit like this. Like
Every part of me wants tomorrow for me and you to go, like, hang and hunt. But it's like I want to, but then it's like we don't really have to.
yeah,
But I want to.
right.
I want to just because I haven't done it since freaking October.
What if I didn't bring that? What if I was just like total spaced out, didn't bring it?
Didn't bring what?
My stand.
We would just whatever.
We just feel like, oh yeah, we're stuck at the blind.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was thinking, I was like, well, shit.
I know.
Bring the lightweight setup.
I know.
Hell, you never know. I brought the bow too.
But it sounds. But you know, it's like the last day. It's like
I know,
sounds
last
like
day
a
is-
lot of work. You put a
It
lot of
does.
work in this year, and
Yeah.
I feel like you deserve a break. And that's what I was trying to give you.
But whatever it takes is what I'm down for.
Well, whatever it takes, yeah. But I think whatever it takes is being in that blind tomorrow and being able
I
to
will
shoot
say-
160 yards.
I will say I was gonna make a social post but I didn't have the content for it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say like so I went like 12, 13 hunts without even seeing a deer from mid-November to through December. And
Brutal.
then I gotta
Absolutely
go.
brutal.
I got invited to go with Matt and Jesse, and on the first late doe season, and we got to see like 30 deer. And I was like, man, this is awesome, you know?
Yeah, it's great.
Because I haven't seen anything. So was lucky to get out there with them and, come up here, see all these deer. I'm like, man, this is great. But I will say, I was thinking about this on my last public land hunt. I was putting my second stick on the tree, and I was like, doing this, like, it's a new area, it's a new spot you've never been in.
Yep.
And you're literally putting on your second stick, and you're going to tighten it down, and you're going to climb up, and you're going to put that third stick on, that fourth stick on. You're going to hang your stand. When you were walking in here, you were thinking about which way the wind's blowing, where the deer you think are bedding, and just all the factors just on the mile walking, you know what I'm saying? And like that, the exhilaration that I get from just hanging the stand, because like I've picked like what I think is a spot. Like it might be the spot. It might be that tree. That could be the kill tree.
And you sit down and your arrow's knocked, it's like I'm in it.
You're just like this could be it.
It's very high anxiety.
Yeah,
it's anxious. Like I'm anxious. It's like it's crazy.
Yeah,
I know exactly where you're going.
Like I might have just done it right here just by
This is
picking
it.
this tree.
I just sealed the deal.
Off of everything that I'm taking into factor here on this hunt.
Yep.
It all come down to the tree placement, you know.
Yeah.
And if the deer's there or he's not there,
Right,
you know,
right,
it's
yeah.
a totally different deal. But
Yeah.
you picking that tree and like the exhilaration of just hanging that.
Yep.
It's like a little high.
Well, I think it's different because it's like if you do it in like September, you're like you look forward to going and sitting in that stand, but
Right.
like you know it's there waiting for you. But when you're like going out and picking the tree and like the first time you're like
Even if it's 15 yards on, so say
15 yards different than where the last time you sat.
Yeah, or like where you have a preset and like you're making
Yeah,
an
yeah.
adjustment on some private land somewhere.
Yeah.
You're just like, you know, this could be the difference maker.
Yeah.
Of being 45
Total game
yards to
changer.
30 yards and making a kill shot.
Yep, exactly.
So just that little high is pretty cool.
It's totally
hanging
different.
and hunting tomorrow, like when I hang that second stick,
It would be pretty sick.
I would
There's
get
lot
that
of
rush.
There's a lot of
a little
time
rush.
from where we go out and hunt till we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
You have no idea.
Maybe we'll just go hang and hunt. I don't know.
Maybe.
With guns.
Yeah.
That's
Did anybody do that? Nobody talks about doing that. Hanging, hunting with
me.
guns.
No. I don't know.
That's cool. We could do that.
Yeah. It could be us. But yeah.
So
No, and I get what you're saying because like if you go out and sit in a blind and the blind's set and everything's preset, everything's like, you know, the heater's in there. I got the tanks. You know, you don't have that like this is kind of where the deer are going to come out. You kind of know everything that's going to happen. I guess not like you don't know a big buck's going to come out and you're going to get a shot. But
Right.
for the majority of things, you understand where the deer are coming in and out.
So we've sat in the general area 2 nights, been able to see the movement. I know if we went to the food plot by the logging road,
Yeah.
and we stood where the deer were coming out at, we would see a damn trail like we are on the East Woods coming from the neighbors south.
Bingo,
Like,
yeah, like-
the damn snow's melted.
It's
You
a
know,
highway.
Like, I didn't know hooves could melt snow, but it's
Highway.
it blazed in a trail.
And so in northern Illinois, it's been 2 weeks. We've had snow, and it hasn't melted. This is like crazy. Like I don't remember snow sticking around this long for 2-3 weeks at a time. You know, normally we get a snow, it melts.
Melts,
It's
yeah.
total trash.
Right.
But this snow stuck around, so it's kind of loud walking. But it's been kind of neat because you can see a lot of the traffic. Mm-hmm. You know,
And just like your dad walking in that east timber that we had our backs to last night, bro, we're pretty much hunting.
yeah.
You know, he came in the north end and pushed it south, and he could like, oh yeah, there's no fresh
He's like,
tracks
there
in
ain't
here.
hardly
So
any fresh.
we know by 3
Because
a.m.
we got an inch of snow or
Yeah.
whatever, half inch.
I would say an inch.
Yeah.
So, you know, we know by 3 a.m. them deer
They
were
were
out
out
of
of
there. So they went in. Well, there was 20 that went in there.
But
Yeah, there was
were that
20
the
that went
20
in
we
there.
saw?
At,
I don't know.
At 5:15.
Yeah.
Because it was the last light.
Right.
And they were gone by the time
Yeah.
it snowed, and
Which I thought was
it wasn't
crazy.
anything fresh.
Which I thought was crazy.
I don't think that's crazy.
I thought for sure there'd be at least like 10, 15 deer in there.
No,
But
I didn't think it was that crazy.
yeah, well,
But I was.
But every
we
time-
know 3 does went in there because we seen them go in there this morning.
right, that was
and then
3 of the
6
6
came
whatever.
out. Yeah,
But like that's the thing that's like too is because majority of the times that I have bumped deer out of there, it's been 20. Like almost every time. When I go shed hunting or whatever, I go around that corner, 20 deer. You know, every time.
yeah.
And even like, so I had some guys that wounded a buck from the north and they come down and they walk and he's like, yeah, like 30 deer come out of there. I'm like, I'm going to go hunt there tomorrow.
Right.
Thanks, bro. They just walked down through there and just blew all the deer out. But I'm like, again, what did those deer do? They went out south and we watched them come back in.
Yeah.
What?
4 hours.
Was it 4 hours later?
Yeah, because it was one. I think it was 1:45.
It was one. That was like the only deer we saw at one. So they we bumped those does out. They literally went south.
And they went south forever. Like they
Yeah.
wanted to go to the direct neighboring property, And then I don't know if that guy was over there hunting.
His truck was down there.
It was.
I think
Okay.
they saw his truck and they didn't like it.
So they got 150 yards from the timber, and then just made a direct left,
Like right on
and
the
went
middle of the field.
more out in the middle
Just
of the field,
middle. Emptiness.
And I was looking over there. I put the scope up. I'm like, they're going to absolutely nothing.
Middle of nowhere.
The only thing that's down there is a freaking house.
Yeah, and it's nothing. It's just fence row out there.
Yeah, it's
but
like
they'll hold.
12 evergreens.
They'll just hold down the middle, and then come back.
Yeah, that's what he said when we were sitting there, and you're just like, oh yeah, they'll just stay out there in the middle of the field.
Normally they wait till normally they'll just wait and in the nighttime come in. But I was shocked. I looked over. I'm like, those deer are coming back into the woods.
Isn't it crazy? Like you just look over and boom, there's a deer. Like I seen that doe in the gap in the morning.
Yeah.
Like she was kind of, moving across the gap decent. It was
Yeah.
like boom, there's a deer. Like I call that like the hunter instinct. Like you just know to look over there somewhere,
Yeah, and there
and
it
boom,
is.
there's a deer.
Yep.
I was like, that's that hunter instinct.
It's
like,
weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I was like, if I didn't look over there within the 15 seconds that deer
Well,
was
I
there,
think,
wouldn't have seen it.
I think if you put like a time lapse and to see what a hunter does in like a 5-minute span, like the amount of times that their head looks out and dips and looks
Oh,
and like out of every window, I know I do it. I bet every video
Yeah.
where you took with the GoPro, I'm like,
I don't know how
Everywhere.
many times I did a double take today, like a bird flying or something. I tell you what, them cars on the highway on the back
They get you,
me
don't you?
all the time.
they get you. Oh, dude,
just
it took me a long
double
time to
take
quit
all the
getting
time, dude.
juked by those because you just a flash
Yeah, it's-
both
it's
ways
like-
to the east and to the north.
and I also think that is just like the pressure to get it done or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like that plays into it. Just trying to get it done. Just like I gotta see every deer.
If you're not on
here.
edge, if you're not on edge and looking at every piece of grass that moves with your binos, I don't want you to hunt with
Dude.
me. I don't want you to hunt with me, bro.
I think your binos are so good once it gets into the last half hour. Once you look through the binos once, you can't not look through the binos again.
Me?
Yeah. The last half hour of the hunt, that's all you did was look at binos.
Because I couldn't see nothing. If I'm not looking at my binos,
Straight binos.
straight up, there's deer out there.
He's like, shit. He's like, shooter's back out in the field. All right, camera, it's done. Straight binos. The rest of
Yeah,
the
I was like, this
hunt.
camera's junk. It's dark. This camera's junk. I want my binos.
Yeah. Binoed everything for at least the last half
Because
hour.
every time a deer would come out, I'm like, okay, where's the freaking racks?
Yeah. When
There's
when you're
so many does.
yeah, you would think there would be
I'm
a
like,
buck.
because the only way I'm gonna be able to see, is if I have my binos. I'm not freaking Superman. Can't.
Bro, you
zoom
got
in
the
my eyes.
camera.
Yeah, but the camera's dark.
You don't know how to work it.
No, I don't. Too many settings. Too many buttons. It's a spaceship.
Spaceship.
It's a spaceship on a tripod. All right.
Spaceship on a tripod.
It's ridiculous. But recap from today. We're having a great time. It is a lot of fun hunting with you. I'm glad you made the trip up. I wish Cody could have been up here
I know.
too. If I'd had a bigger,
If he was in the blind with us today,
Dude,
it would
it'd
have
have
been unreal.
I need a bigger blind so we all three can hunt in the same blind because it would have
Whatever.
been whatever that is. You're gonna take that home with you and show Cody.
I am. I'd be like, bro, look at this thing. Two
Man.
bratwursts slapping together.
Yeah, it's just an all day hunt.
I know. You get out there and
You
it's
get
like,
loopy, man.
yeah, it's 11. You've had some solid snacks, but you're just waiting on that lunchtime. And then that's when shit starts just going AWOL.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I enjoyed, like I was telling you, I enjoy all day sits just for the most part. It's like I feel like I'm beating the deer because I'm already here. I didn't walk in the middle of the day. I didn't bump anything. I've been here all day. My exposure to the deer, my scent, my walking in is so minimalistic that it's like straight up like just hidden, you know?
Yeah, totally. And just like we were talking about, the access to your spot is, hard.
I'd much
And-
rather do it when it's pitch black dark than
Oh, yeah.
like tomorrow I'm going to be on edge. Like I'm going to feel like you'll notice, like I'll be like, we got to get going because I feel like I did it to my
like,
dad.
oh,
Like
yeah,
we
we
have
gotta
to go.
rip.
We got to go. It's like 9 o'clock. We got to go. No. but like I'll get antsy because I want to get to the blind.
You just want to be in the
I
blind.
want to get to the blind because once I'm in the blind and that door's closed,
then you're solid.
we're good.
Yeah.
Because once that happens, like once you get to that point, you can't bump anything. Nothing's going to be coming across from woods to woods.
That's kind of the plan of attack we had on our rutcation is just like, once you're in the tree, you're in the tree, you know? And
Yeah.
I know we moved, you know, quite a few times midday just to set up for the morning. So like we're not there hanging in the dark.
Yeah, hanging in the dark is
Tearing down in the dark, you know? So
I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm okay tearing down in the dark. I like hanging hunt in the afternoon.
Yeah,
like that's kind of my jam.
I feel like when you have that mindset, just like we're talking about, it was like sitting all day and you're beating the deer by sitting all day because it's a hard spot to get to and you know your better movement's going to be in the afternoon. I feel like when you have that mindset going into it, it makes sitting all day better because just think if we were in there at 1, like, they're like,
I kind of feel like I'm cheating.
Yeah, I mean...
Because even like first season, like I sat 2 days all day by myself. Oh my God, is that boring?
It's brutal.
I mean, even though we have a smartphone, but like
You need a portable charger.
I have it and I just forgot it. But I get tired of I don't even like looking at my phone because I'm hunting. I'm hunting. Why am I looking at my phone? Why am I looking at my phone? I'm hunting. This is awesome.
You're like, I refreshed it and nothing new came up.
But I'm hunting and there's no deer.
Yeah.
And it's like, but during first season, I had a lot of midday. I had a bunch of midday movement. 12:30, I think I had at one time, I think it was 11 or 12:30, I had 9 does come from one woods all the way over and within shooting range. And I'm like, all that would have taken was there to be a booner behind him.
For sure.
And right there, I just beat everybody who was walking in at 2 o'clock. That whoever was walking in at 2 o'clock and bumped that buck, I just beat you because I'm still here.
Yeah.
And not only just beating the deer, I think for me sitting all day, I'm beating everybody else.
Oh yeah.
Because there's very few people, especially in my area. I don't know how many times I get to watch people walk out to their stands. Yeah. And I'm just seeing the orange coming. I'm like, all right, something can happen here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I see them, they just get in their stand and the deer start moving and they're downwind of them. And I'm like,
well, I just don't know how many times you're just sitting there and you're just like, man, I wish something would just bump that deer,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Or I just wish, it's like tonight we're praying for a coyote. It's like, oh yeah.
If a coyote would have came out when that buck was going over there, that would have been perfect.
Dude, I feel like he would have ran right to the point because that's the closest cover he's got. I mean, I feel like it would have been a 40-yard shot at that point.
Oh, yeah. But that never happens. When they were jumping, I'm like, when they were jump back in the woods, I'm like, yeah, there's probably a coyote coming through now. You know, it's about right.
Yeah.
Buck, shooter buck, almost in range. Here comes a coyote.
But
awesome.
There's also times that, I mean, even on a rutcation, there's times that you get to that 9:30 time frame in the morning, and then all of a sudden it's just deer start moving again. What?
And what?
Probably got bumped. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Guys
Somebody's
done hunting.
walking out. Yep.
And that's when the shit pays off.
And I used to do that a lot when I was younger. I would very impatient,
or if you're in the blind in the morning and you're gonna sit the blind in the afternoon, that's your plan. Why would you get out at 10?
It's hard
for 3 hours.
Exactly.
It's 3 hours.
Granted, it would be nice to come home and eat lunch.
It would be. Yes.
Relax for a little bit. But my problem is when I come home, I have that anxious. I need to get back out there.
I think the 3 hours. It's the longest 3 hours of the day.
Terrible.
I understand that.
Absolutely terrible.
We just did it on January 15th, 16th. We just did it on January 16th.
Yeah.
It's long.
Yep.
And that's with a buddy. If you're out there by yourself, it is absolutely
that Friday
tragic.
Last year when I shot my buck, if you went back in my Instagram, I was taking videos, I was just being, I got loopy, man.
Yeah.
I was talking to
you can get.
I was oh, dude, man, you need some.
You can space out for sure.
I was I got to do something to keep my mind going.
Yeah.
That day, I didn't see a single deer until 3 o'clock. I sat from half an hour before the sunrise, and I didn't see a single deer till 3 o'clock, and that was the buck I shot. And I'm who does that? Why would you want to do that? But then it's
It was worth it. It was the right thing to do to
As
kill.
I'm walking up there, I'm like, oh, it was all worth it. And even coming home, like, come home to the wife. She's like, so glad you did that. She's like, that was awesome. Like,
yeah.
She's like, it was kind of funny to watch you all day, like literally struggling to stay.
Honest.
Like, you were struggling to stay sane.
Yeah.
She's like, you were keeping it, you're kind of keeping it together, but not really. But she was like, it's kind of funny to watch you. And then all of a sudden you shot a deer, like, holy cow, you're actually out there hunting and not just talking to your phone. Because that's what I did for about 8 hours.
Just talk to it's a story.
It's terrible. But
so that's kind of the update of how everything's going. Tonight was a really good hunt. Today was a pretty solid day. And then just like Logan said, we're gonna sleep in a little bit in the morning, have a decent breakfast, get some lunch in us, and then head out to the blind about noon or so until dark. We just didn't see the morning movement like we thought we would, and it hasn't been on cam either.
It's just not going to get me to. It's not want. Doesn't want me to like. I mean, there was deer in cam at 4 o'clock this morning, but that, that was before light. But it's just not enough to get us to want to be like.
I would say even cams, even my mobile cams back home. Yeah. They're showing the deer getting back to bed about 5.
Yep.
So, tomorrow we're gonna get out there about noon. Plenty of time before the movement's been going in the evenings, and
it's the last sit of.
It is going to be the last sit of 2021 season.
When you say 2021, it's like it's not.
We didn't give 20.
2020, 21 season. Super confusing.
So then it'll be done.
Yep.
It's just like I was in there talking to your wife, and I was like, man, tomorrow's gonna be the last sit. Like,
it's crazy.
It's over. When it's dark tomorrow, that's it.
Yep.
Crazy. Won't be able to hunt deer again.
Yeah, never. Not until October.
Probably never. By the time the shit gets opened up.
Yeah, they're gonna close public land hunting. Sorry, COVID.
Oh man, how big would Magnum be in 2 years? Probably be about a 130.
He's probably gonna be like a 90. He's gonna have no antlers at all.
Right. West Side's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
I guarantee that.
That deer's gone.
So, just like I said at the beginning, guys, hopefully you guys will be able to watch what we're doing up here on Last Breath YouTube, doing it live, and then maybe if we shoot a buck tomorrow, maybe be able to watch it on a full episode.
Yeah, we got some good footage. We got some good footage, I think, to put something together. I think
we do. We've got a damn good start.
We got to get that kill.
Need to finish
strong. We're gonna finish it out.
So
good vibes.
Also, if you want to watch this podcast in video form, you can do that on the Last Breath YouTube channel, and that'll be coming out on Sunday mornings. Not guaranteeing when this one will be out, but when we get a flow going,
they're probably gonna proof this one and be like, nah,
this guy is trash.
Nah, dude, we're gonna pass on this,
right? So. Yeah, we'll be releasing the video podcast on Sunday morning on the Last Breath YouTube channel. So you guys will be able to watch it there. So appreciate you guys listening. And remember, try to do the right thing and leave a legacy. And Whitetail Legacy is out.